So Ash, I have a question. You know, you're British, aren't you?
Yeah,
Well, you were born in Wales,
we
but there's something big happening this weekend, isn't there?
there is.
The King's coronation. Did you watch it?
Yeah, I watched all the coronations.
Ah, all right. Hello,
Sorry.
we're watching Walford. Um,
We occasionally make very terrible intros to give to you. And to be fair, probably the reason nobody watches past the 30-second mark. This is
yeah,
episode 18 of Watching Walford, an EastEnders podcast where we talk about and review all of the episodes every single week. Likewise, welcome back to Watching Walford channel, which is more than just one podcast, as we aim to make documentaries on characters, retell stories from yesteryears, and maybe eventually news videos, other soaps, etc., etc. Podcast is just audio only, but some point, maybe soon, probably not because I can't commit to anything. Make little documentaries or video essays. I am Ash, and I'm joined by Piggy.
shalom. Um, I'm doing well. Remember that law I brought up a few weeks ago where they basically want to kidnap trans kids?
Yes, yes.
That law got passed.
Oh, jeez.
It's going to Senate. And to make it even worse, so let's say you're a parent, right?
Yeah.
And you go to your son, John, and you're like, John, I'm trans.
Hello, John
They
boy.
can take you, they can take your kid away because your parent or your brother or sister who are in the house with you are trans. So they could, and someone can falsely take away your kid because they're trans or they've been exposed to trans.
That's not ideal.
So yeah,
I'll be honest. I gotta say,
what?
could they not be working on important shit?
They
How about
could, but
we work on cracking down on domestic violence? How about we actually rehouse children in homes that aren't abusive? How about we do things that are a little bit more important than strip away rights of people who have absolutely nothing?
um, I uh, uh, I just want to say R.I.P. to our family. I forget the name of the family, but basically this is going to be a bit dark, so trigger warning. This is going to talk about violent gun control and violence. So just bear with me, my fellow Americans. Um, I love doing my JFK impression. There was if this happened either last week or the week before, I didn't get a chance to talk about it because I was only exposed to it literally after the podcast last week. There was a family of 12 in a house. I don't know if you've heard about this,
I haven't.
and basically their neighbor was shooting, and basically the dad or someone went out to the house, went next door, knocked on the door, went, "Excuse me, would you mind stopping that? Because our child is trying to sleep." And
Hmm.
basically the guy went, "Yeah, yeah, I'll stop it." He then proceeded to kick in the door, shoot mothers, sisters, and an 8-year-old child in the head. Uh, the mothers and sisters were protecting their children by putting their basically covering child, so they got shot and not the child. And basically the guy's on the run. And then a senator or someone important in that office in Florida, not Florida, I think it was somewhere in Texas. I don't know where it was. Basically, the guy in charge, the decent thing would be to acknowledge that the children and parents were shot. This guy, no, this guy points out that they're illegal immigrants. And you're like, you do realize a family just died. A family died, and you're calling them illegal immigrants. You're not an illegal immigrant if you're fucking dead. The only thing you're illegal to is the ground while they eat away at your corpse as you slowly die and decay.
Yeah,
But yeah,
it's kind of that's pretty messed up. Let's not use a family's big death as an excuse to push your agenda. Maybe you should just
Exactly.
respect that the family got unjustly murdered. You know, it's kind of the. I like how most. I always hear people being like, "Well, you always bringing politics into things." And it's like, mate, you're doing it though. Like
But you're a snowflake.
if I mention something about a woman, you're like, well, women are the most privileged. It's like, yeah, sound. Have you ever been a teenage girl? Everything you do's hated. Obviously not the biggest marginality, Obviously not the most oppressed, like, set of people. But, like, I don't know. It's just kind of like, don't, don't bring politics into things. If that's just your way, casually sneak in some politics.
It's like the people who say, it's like the don't say gay bit. How the bloody hell is that going to work?
What's wrong
Like
with
about
saying gay?
pronouns. What?
What's wrong with saying gay?
Oh no, it's basically a bill where you're not allowed to say anything LGBTQ in a
Oh, yeah,
classroom.
yeah.
I don't know if I also brought this up,
Nah, you did, I remember
but
now.
no. There's another thing I forgot to bring up. I don't know if I brought this up last week. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
So basically, in America, you're supposed to separate church and school. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you're not supposed to bring. They do teach religion, but it's not like you have to go to church every Sunday. You have to pray to God
Yeah.
or Islami or whatever his name is,
Allah.
depending on your religion. Basically, these laws have been in place for hundreds of years, even before we were born, even before EastEnders was even a show. Like these laws have been untouched for centuries.
Yeah.
And basically these senators in Texas meant, well, we want to plaster the Ten Commandments on a wall in the classrooms, and then at 4 o'clock each day they get time on campus to pray. And you're like, yeah, you're forcing your religion there, mate. But they're like, no,
uh,
we're not forcing our religion. We just want people to be taught the right way. And you're like,
yeah, but
yeah, that's
Texans are mental though. There was a ruling where they were trying to get the Martin Luther King "I Have a Dream" speech banned because it's inherently racist to white people, and it's like, mate, it's trying to get equal rights. Genuinely trying to get equal rights after being like, ah, it's so insane. Why is America? Obviously, Trump derangement syndrome didn't help, but America has lost its fucking mind. This is
America's
this
like
is
that
what
one
happens
kid.
when you let toxic like alt right Christians. Uh,
Yeah,
and it's not it's not for me to be a lefty as well. The radical lefties are mental as well.
we're
Like,
somewhere in the middle. We don't have a political view. We just talk about politics as like a way to like be like, and we're not saying your way is wrong, but if your way is like the gays are the problem, trans people are the problem, drag queens are the problem because they're sexualizing children. I would rightly point out to you, if a drag queen is sexualizing your children, then why do you put them in beauty pageants?
yeah, yeah.
Why do you dress them up? Why, if a kid goes to a funeral, why do you put them in a dress and put makeup on them? Their granddad is dead. It's not like his granddad's gonna have a little wank in the corner and be like, "Oh, Susie's in a dress." He's fucking dead. What's he gonna do? He's dead. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, it's the idea of who you doing that for,
Yeah.
because sometimes the point gets a little bit skewered, like someone's dead granddad having a wank in the corner. Maybe that's not the angle you want to dive into. You want to dive into the actual point.
But yeah,
But
it doesn't make sense. Like all these laws that are coming against people. I just want to live in a world where everyone is happy.
pretty
I don't
much,
see the point. I don't see the point of why we all got to be angry over people who want to live their lives. It's like people saying drag queens are the problem. If I, dr- Out of the 100 and something shootings that happened this year, how many of them were drag queens? Because I don't mean to alarm you. If you seen a drag queen come into your school with a gun, they're probably filled with glitter. The gun is not bullets.
A water pistol.
Yes, queen. Yes,
Just for shock
boy.
value. Yeah, I agree. I don't know why this has become a weird, like, little, like, political aspect of the podcast. It's not.
This is just my time to shine on my views, like
Like,
my opinion.
I think, yeah, the main point is we both believe that you should be able to do what you want and be happy and not be messed, not be fucked over because of someone else's, like, views or insecurities. So that's pretty much it. It's not real, like, basically, if you've been on politics Twitter, that's what we're trying to avoid. Because
Yeah,
politics Twitter,
we just we
fucking
just
mental.
we just try and show you our side of things. This is the reason why I bring up crazy laws and crazy news stories that happen throughout the week. I'm not trying to bring on my points of view. I'm not trying to say my way is the right way. You all have to bend your knee, kiss my ass, and follow me. I'm just giving. I'm just saying
uh,
what
we're,
the world is mental.
we're just given the, like, we're just given the slightly weird but also slightly mentally ill take that we possess.
Yeah,
And
because
we are nobodies.
one of us is autistic and one of us is dyslexic. So,
Yeah.
you know. I'm possibly autistic. They haven't diagnosed me yet.
Uh, all right. How was the week otherwise?
It was fine. Someone. I have found a very rare figure I need for my collection, and I will show you. Only about 5 or 6 were made.
Oh, all right. Yep, got that.
It is a Monty Brown figure that was made in 2005 or 2006. It was a European exclusive, but not many were made,
Yeah.
and it's needed for my Monty Brown collection. Now it is a bit expensive, I will admit, but
How
for the
much
Monty
does that
Brown
bad boy
collection,
go for?
400
Oh, uh,
because you can't find them. He's literally
yeah, yeah. I
rare.
mean, that's what you said. There's 6 versions. So
There's only about 6 of them made. So there's probably there might be more than 6. There might be 20. I don't actually know the value. I
yeah,
just know. I just know. Basically, that Monty Brown was supposed to be in a 2-pack with Jeff Jarrett because Jeff Jarrett and Monty Brown feuded in the year 2005,
yes,
and basically that figure got cancelled, and then it was supposed to be in Series 3. So basically, they made a red version in Series 3 and a black version. But the black version, the one I showed you, is so rare that you can't find it. Like
mm,
the only person that I only found it once on eBay, and it was by a German seller who had the box damaged, and I was like, I'm not buying it for the box damage. This box though, this one, however, the box is not damaged; it's in pristine condition. I will open it probably, but it will be sitting on my windowsill while he looks at me while I sleep.
yeah. Okay, that'll
So
keep you
yeah,
safe.
and then some American comes into my house to steal it. He's like, nope, that's my Monty Brown. 400 down the drain. And you're like, oh no. I got my I also got my ticket to All In with Farg, so that's going well. 20
Nice.
quid. Not bad for a wrestling show.
Yeah, Jesus. I was expecting like a couple hundred.
No, no. Tony Khan knows how to actually how to actually make people buy tickets and not
Yeah.
sell them for like £1,000 for a nosebleed seat.
Ah, fair
Yeah,
enough.
we're way up in the nosebleeds in Wembley Stadium. This is, I don't know if it'll sell out, but apparently 60k tickets have been sold, so it's looking to sell out.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to it. I'll be there from the history. It's literally history in the wrestling world.
Mm,
Well, the people, because people like the shit on and go wrestling was better in the 90s. But if you look at it from our perspective, no other company was able to sell out any UK stadium. TNA miserably failed. I'll give you credit, WCW might have, but then again, WCW was a dumpster fire in the year 2000. So the only thing they were selling out was the Hogan and Russo, which
Yeah,
I
fair enough.
recommend. I recommend people go find that Vince Russo promo because sorry to get sidetracked, but there's a Vince Russo promo at Bash at the Beach 2000, and he calls Hogan the best thing I ever heard someone call someone. Hogan, you big bald bastard, you're fired.
Pretty good, pretty good.
I don't know why he called him a big bald bastard. He calls him something like that. But yeah, so I'm going to All In. So yeah, my week's been pretty good. I'm getting a Monty Brown in June.
Lovely.
I also might be getting a Steve motherfucking Blackman figure.
Oh,
So Steve will also be in my windowsill as we record Watching Walford.
in honor of
I will
the
send
podcast.
you yeah, Steve is there is a photo is coming your way now of the custom.
Yeah, damn, pretty good.
So yeah, Steve motherfucking Blackman will be sitting on my windowsill as we record.
And the PC has been delayed another 6 months.
Yeah, well, look, it was the PC will probably be delayed till 2024.
Yeah,
So season two, you'll get my lovely face, not season one. Season
yeah.
one is no face. Season two, though, will probably come back with a bang.
I mean, if we make it season 2, that'll be pretty impressive, so.
Hopefully, unless we both get fed up by October and like, I don't want
I
to do this anymore.
mean, it's a good excuse to watch EastEnders.
Yes,
And a good excuse
I
to
may.
chat shit for 2 hours each week.
Yeah, I just have to write Monday and Tuesday's episode. He has to write Wednesday and Thursday's episode, and fix my notes because I
Yeah,
sometimes forget scenes or forget
piece it
characters.
all together.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how if people want to know how we write it, that's how we write it. I do Monday and Tuesday. He does Wednesday and Thursday, and then if there's any scenes that I miss, I just say, thanks, babe, fix it, kiss,
Yeah,
kiss, in the notes.
indeed.
I put a kissy face. So yeah, that's how we plan the notes. Um, People want to know how we do the bonus videos. I literally just go up to Ash. Do you have an idea? No. Do you have an idea? Well, how about we do top 10 ways Ben Mitchell has thrown up over the years? And he's like, yep, pretty good idea. So yeah, that's been my week. My week has been pretty good. How has your week been?
uh, I it's been alright, I guess. I don't really remember it. Bit of a crisis. Because I've always had an issue with committing to projects. Like, I'll do a project, I'll main the project like a good a week or two, and then my brain just goes, well, that's done. So I guess this podcast is proof that I can actually continue to commit to projects, even 5 months on. So
Yeah.
we're working there. Yeah, I I honestly couldn't tell you
Sorry
what
to
else
hear
has
that.
happened. I caught back up on Coronation Street.
Oh,
It's been great fun. It's just the one thing I love about soap is that you can tell that there's always a lot of warmth there, and if you do genuinely care about the characters, you can really just kind of really get into it. Um, and yeah, it's been nice. The most
uh,
interesting storyline going on there is this like weird kind of twisted love story. A woman was being stalked. The stalker tried to throw acid in her face. A guy got caught in the crossfire, and she kind of feels really, really. She feels really like bad, but really like thankful. And this is likely going to lead into a bit of a weird love triangle because they've kind of just bonded over this like big trauma. but they currently don't know it's her. She's posing as someone who ditched. So it's shaping up to be pretty mental. Yeah, my
If
week.
people want to know what I'm chewing on for this podcast, I like to update people with what I chew on for podcasts. This podcast we've got Care Bear gummy bears. They were in my local corner shop, so I had to get Care Bear gummy bears.
What? Care Bear?
And
Oh, yeah, got it.
we got Muddy Bears, the classic Muddy Bears, where it's just chocolate covered in
Oh, God, it sounds
gummy
so
bears.
bad.
They're so bad, but they're so delicious. I'll tell
Anything
you what.
else?
No. I've got a cup of water.
Lovely. Hydrate. Gotta do it right now.
I had a cup of tea, but it's gone.
Yeah, me too. All right, I
I'm
suppose.
just so excited for EastEnders. Let's get it.
Yeah. Yes, and with all our tangents aside, it's time to start the show. We'll be reviewing week 18 of 2023, the episodes that go from the 1st of March 2023 all the way to the 4th of March 2023.
March.
May. It's gonna be May. Alright, so we kick off episode 1 with people walking in the square. We then see a bag. It's a bag for Albie, and today is the day of the christening. Ravi says to Keanu, look, the job is yours if you want it. But Zach's like, oi, Keanu, get here, lad. Get here, mate. Come on. Sharon's getting her makeup done by Kim. And Sharon kind of asks what's happening with Jack and Denise, but Kim kind of starts to be like, well, see, she bloody nearly shagged Ravi. But then they all come in and Kim does Ray Samer. It feels like everybody's had a piece of Jack.
Yeah.
Between him and Max, they're probably the most shagged men of the square. The top shaggers.
Everyone has shagged Keanu though. Don't forget that.
Yeah, but he's still in his babby years. I saw a comment earlier. This is unrelated, kind of. We haven't mentioned Jack, but you know, somebody's like, "Oh, Jack, I'm sorry, a kiss was a bit much. You slept with your girlfriend's sister and fathered a child with them, but a kiss is a bit too far." Sound. But hey, it's been a good 15 years or so. So who knows? Still some double standards for sure. Then we see Keanu's present. It's a silver bear piggy bank. He feels sad when Martin and Zach have bought him a toy race car set. And then sees a text from Ravi on his phone as he's like, well, time to get that bread. Get that fucking dollar. It is funny that, like, Keanu, you could have gotten him something a little bit better than a shitty little silver bear piggy bank.
Oh yeah, he could have.
Like, even if it gets some sentimental value, it's a piece of shit. It's a piece of your skin, but you're not getting that from the pound shop. Like, you can spend at least a tenner or something. Your ball bag.
Could have could have got him a WWE playset. You know, appeal to us.
Well, I mean, barely me at this point, but yeah.
Could have got him. Could you imagine he gets him a Chris Benoit figure and the EastEnders didn't know who Chris Benoit was? It's like, here, I got you this figure. And you're like, oh no, Keanu, it's gonna come to life. You better hide.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
Which side note they get distracted again? Have you ever seen the Rocket Can case?
No. I heard about it. I don't remember who it was from, but I went, what the fuck?
She wants to sue Chris Benoit, who's been dead for about nearly 20
Or like,
years
yeah. Once it's through
for
the rock.
stalking.
Yeah,
I
bit
wouldn't be
mental.
surprised if we're on the list. I wouldn't be surprised.
Literally anybody.
We're on the fucking list. We kidnapped the child by making her watch Phil Mitchell episodes of EastEnders, just Phil Mitchell based.
Yeah. Alright, carry on. We see Lola and Honey talk, and they talk about how she slept. She responded not great, but then Jay arrives and he's like, oh yeah, we're going to bloody London. I'm gonna do so much stuff. I hope you're feeling up to it. And she's like, yeah. Then Jay gets a phone call from his boss, I believe, Mr. Johnson. So, well, Lola made a lucky escape. Denise comes down the stairs and we see that she's not happy with Kim as it's a bank holiday and she wanted to sleep in. Kim implores her to fight for what she wants, telling her now it's like how pointless it is to wait for Jack to figure out what he wants. Because, Jack's a mardy little bastard, isn't he? Mate, you could give Jack an orange and an apple and he'd try smush them together and eat it in one.
He would.
Absolute. I was trying to say bull bag again. Don't know why, but that's where we're going. Then we see Keanu talk to Bernie, how he wants to be there for Albie and how his present was outshined by the race car set. He feels outdone because he's skint as fuck. But Bernie says, look, the only thing Albie's going to remember is his dad being there. And she asks why he always feels the need to take care of everyone. They're still continuing Keanu's, I'm such a lovely boy, me. Such a nice boy. Is an idiot, though.
That is true.
Then we see Jay telling Lola he has to sort something out at the funeral parlor. He's upset, but she's relieved as she's struggling, but Jay is struggling too, feeling like he's missing out on sweet time before she dies. Jack and the kids are preparing for an escape room as Denise tries to get involved and is brought along. The kids look pleased and I have the same cardigan as Jack.
Do you?
I think so. It
Alright.
looked pretty similar. Listen, right, if he's a police chief and I'm skint, why is he getting like a £20 cardigan from Asda?
From Asda?
They have George, which is their little clothing bit.
Alright.
Yeah.
So they're getting it from Deals or Poundland in the UK.
I mean, no, it is an actual clothing section.
Yeah, Poundland and / Deals have their own clothing section.
Oh, well, I've never been there before. Although if you actually saw how I dress, you'd probably imagine I did.
Or have you been to Primark before or Pennies?
Oh yeah.
Because
Cool.
Primark over here is called Pennies.
Oh.
You just couldn't use it internationally.
Yeah.
So if I ever refer to Pennies, it's Primark.
Alright. And Keanu arrives at Primark and wants to take the job. Ravi gives him a ticket, but it's happening just before Albie's christening. Alright, this set you off. Do you like christenings?
No.
Do you want to get into why you don't like christening?
Can I chew my gummy bear first?
Yeah.
I don't like christenings. I don't see the point. I went on a 20-minute rant in the notes. I don't see the point in christening. You basically dunk your child's head or body in water, or during COVID you get shot with a water gun. I don't know if that's true. I hope it's true. You spent so much money on it. For what? For a little bit of water splashed on his head, or her head, or their head.
I mean, it's supposed to welcome them into the church, part of rebirth. I don't know. I'm not. I mean, as if you couldn't tell at this point, we're not particularly religious people.
If you couldn't, fun fact, because I'm a part of the Catholic Church. I don't know if you're part of the Christian or
No,
Catholic Church, but
no.
basically the exact same thing. Basically, if so, I'm baptized
Yeah,
against my will, of course. I was a
indeed.
child. I was forced to be baptized. But if you try to revoke that, you cannot. The Catholic Church wants you to stay Catholic, even if you're an atheist or you're a far right Muslim. They want you. You're still a Catholic. They will not revoke your baptism. They will not revoke it.
Mm.
I also don't like circumcision. Just just putting it out there. Don't see the point in doing that. I don't see the point in chopping off their knob. It's their body, their choice, isn't it?
Well, I mean, I mean, well,
My
to be
body,
fair,
my
I find it funny how it's such a contentious issue because a lot of Americans are like, why would you do that, man? It's like, mate, it's a bit of foreskin.
yeah, but it's a hoodie. It's a hoodie. You gotta have your hoodie.
I mean, this if we ever got monetized, this podcast wasn't get monetized. As someone, as someone who, as someone who got circumcised because I couldn't fucking pee, so they had to make a new hole. I just, I have no issues with it. Obviously, you should just chop it off for fun. But fundamentally, my brain goes, this is much neater. Yeah.
So yeah, are you team hoodie or team Scott? Let us know in the comments if you like your foreskin or not.
I wish I cared enough to edit this out of the podcast. And yeah, so obviously Karen has brought a birthday cake for Albie, but she's misspelt it. She's like, I don't understand how you can't. I don't understand how to spell Albie. Why can't we say Caden? Like, yeah, but come on. And Alfie appears with a big old cardboard cutout of King Charles. And he just goes, pretty much. Then she looks at the newspaper and it's Janine. She's being sentenced. As much as Linda is happy she's being sentenced, it doesn't really matter because Mick's still gone. Still, probably Mick's fault that he's dead, technically.
Yeah,
You didn't have to follow her.
exactly.
We then see Lola taking a nap on the sofa. She's pretty tired as the cancer is getting progressively worse and worse. Jay and Honey are amazed at how much Jay is doing for Lola. Billy and Honey are crying as it's settled in how much they're going to miss her when she dies. Pretty sad scene, but still good. At Sharon's, we see Martin taking photos of Albie with his mum and dad. Keanu has to dart off an hour before the christening, and he sneaks off quickly as he tells Martin, who's absolutely dumbfounded, like, you what? To tell Sharon he'll meet her at the church. Then at the cafe, we see the Brannings eating and talking about how fun the escape room was. They mention laser tag and have a fun conversation, taking the piss out of Jack for playing games by the rules. Dickhead. Hey, listener, I like most rules. You know, I was a little goody two shoes. I always committed to the rules. I actually met one of my best mates because for some reason in my secondary school they didn't want you to run outside. And
Right.
obviously people just ran anyways. But me and my best mate Jake never did. And that's how we became friends. While
Because you didn't
seeing
run.
exactly.
Wait, they wanted you to run outside or they didn't?
They didn't want you to run outside.
Alright.
Which is still fucking stupid. Let the dickheads run off their energy.
Yeah,
They
true.
spent all day sitting down. Yeah. Keanu sets up for his job and he's been given a van full of drugs with a flat tire. And Sharon, meanwhile, is upset and has some fun flirting with Ravi. Jean and Alfie talk, and Jean gives him a reality check and kind of makes him think about the future. She then kind of goes, listen, all right, Linda is absolutely, like, just crying today. She's really struggling. And Jean reminds him to be careful. And at the Browning, see the kids playing Monopoly. They hold Jack ransom, stealing his Monopoly money. And they say, we'll give you back if you let Denise and Raymond move back in. And he just kind of walks out like, you're taking the fucking piss. I've never been held hostage over Monopoly money. But I'm not making a big decision because they've decided that they want to fuck with me.
I've
Right?
never had the issue. I've never played Monopoly before, actually.
Have you never played Monopoly?
Never. I played Monopoly Go, but that doesn't count. I've never played Monopoly with 4 people.
Damn. That's pretty fucking rough.
Yeah, well, I had an abusive mom, so
True,
like, how the fuck am I gonna fucking play Monopoly with her? She'll end up
Yeah.
hitting me a box. Fuck you, mate. That's my castle, not yours.
Yeah, fair. At the church, Keanu is stressed and wants to hope the job gets done as Whit thinks about Pete and whether she would have been. Keanu arrives and Sharon chews him up for being late and having his shirt dirty. And then I wrote, he has genuinely bought a van full of drugs to his son's christening. Are you fucking serious? Stash the van literally anywhere else. Not at your kid's christening. Ah, mate, honestly, he's a fucking idiot. What's wrong with you, Keanu? Ah. Is he supposed to be lovable because he's just a daft prick?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
It's just furious, man. For fuck's sake. Billy runs after Jay and decides he wants Jay to have some time off, so they're arranging some cover. Jay cries a little, realizing that, like a young guy he just had in the funeral parlor, he's going to be the guy mourning his wife soon, as Jay kind of goes, I don't want your help, and distracts himself from more work. As Albie is being baptized, the car alarms start blaring. Someone's bumped into the van. And from fucking nowhere, the police just come from the shadows like, hello, we're arresting you. It's like, sound, where the fuck do you come from?
Where did they come from?
They're all hidden in the van. It's like bloody... I was going to say prank patrol, but that's dated as fuck even for me. Just
there was some prank TV
hidden
show I watched
camera.
that.
Okay, that was only in 2010. Fair enough. There was an even older one. Wait, no, prank patrol's in 2005. All right, down.
The same year Dirty Dan got killed.
Indeed. And yeah, they start going, hey, Keanu, why are you so sheepish about your fan, huh? And Jack admits that he wants Denise to move back in and has completely changed his tune. He knows it'll take a while to trust her again, but he wants it to work. Took your time, didn't you, Jack, you knob? Then we see Keanu getting arrested because there was cocaine in the van and not weed. A Class A drug rather than a Class B. Why is weed a Class B drug?
What is the difference between Class A and Class B?
Basically, Class A is like the hard shit. You know, that's like the meth, the like crack cocaine. You know, that's the basically, and it also carries a much larger sentence type deal.
Surely weed should be legal.
I mean, it should be, but you know, the lawmakers are like, oh, bloody weed. Oh, what? I've never done that. Marijuana? Who's she?
Oh yeah, weed should be legal. No other drugs.
I
Cocaine
mean,
shouldn't be legal.
weed should be legal, definitely, to help with people who suffer from seizures or people whose like joints like I'm gonna say like stutter, but like people have like stuff that like the chemicals inside weed that like helps the body like calm down.
It should be also legal for people with mental health issues
Yeah, yeah. Well, maybe
or
in about
autistic people.
20 years.
Yeah, we'll be old people in 20 years. Just
And by
we
that
wouldn't.
point, I'll have a weed dealer anyway.
You'd be 40,
I'm
40
not even
fucking.
supposed to be around at that point. My life expectancy is like mid-30s. Straight chilling.
I'll be doing the Watching Walford podcast by myself.
Yeah, lighting up. And yeah, so and the funniest part, one of the funniest scenes this week, Sharon's like, oh, Keanu, what's in there? And Keanu's just like, weed. I just fucking just so like, what's in there? Weed. It's like he's such a drip. And Keanu gets arrested for carrying a controlled substance with intent to supply. As Karen screams, "Get off my boy, my boy!" It's the one note emotional thing she knows how to do.
Clap, clap.
We open up with Keanu in a jail cell. He's yelling for his phone call. Then we see Sharon and Keanu arguing about what happened to Keanu, and she asks Phil for a favor to call Richie, but Phil, knowing that it's for Keanu, says no. Kathy is pounding out the champagne as Karen let it slip that Keanu's been shifted for drugs. And Sharon, Zach, and Martin decide to try and celebrate anyways, even if they're mortified at Keanu being a ballbag. Linda gets an important phone call and Billy opens his mouth and mentions Keanu and then gets shouted at by both Karen and Sharon. As Ravi hears this go down and phones Christos saying that they have a problem. Excuse me.
They do.
Then we see Reese preparing to barricade the doors in. He's afraid. He's afraid the place is going to be raided as the Taylors are next door and Keanu's clearly a drug lord. Sonia receives a birthday card and Reese says, "We gotta throw the biggest party. The more the merrier." And Sonia's absolutely buzzing. But then we see Sharon on the stairs as Linda walks down. They talk about Keanu and if he's selling. Then she gets a phone call saying it's Keanu and she tells him a solicitor is on the way. Ben also arrives and Billy's like, "Why are you so late? We gotta go and help Jay." As we see Felix and Finley talk to Alfie. They mention the Glory King and coronation on Saturday, as Felix is angling for a tiramisu gig, and they want to perform this coronation, as Alfie tries to get Linda involved, but she isn't interested. Alfie then reveals that Janine got 5 years in prison. Well, she's going to be back in 5 years, right?
I bet there's going to be a storyline in, well, this is 2023. So 2028 should be back.
Yeah.
I bet that's when Nick returns.
I wouldn't be so. Ah, mate, imagine that. Imagine they find each other and they're like raising the kid. Because in theory, he's. I don't know. I feel like in theory you have to have him just lose his mind, or he just decides that everyone's better off without him, and then goes to find himself.
Or he finds Danny Dyer and he bases his entire personality off Danny Dyer. So when he returns, he thinks he's Danny Dyer, who is playing Danny Dyer.
Yeah, sick, nice. To be fair, 5 years is enough time for his career to dry up. So,
I imagine he went next year. I want to come back,
oh,
and they had to rewrite all the
he
storylines.
will. Maybe not
Imagine he
next
just
year, but split in a couple years.
no. Could you imagine though? Like, he's just already fed up and leaving the square. He's like, I
Yeah.
want to come back.
We cut to the prison where a guarder is talking to Keanu, and they say, "We'll let you go if you tell us who's stealing. Or you can spend 5 years in prison and miss the best years of your son's life rotting away in a jail cell. Decision.
Rather rot away in jail then.
Yeah. Fuck him. Don't even like my child. Doesn't even
He's a
speak to me."
Protestant anyways. Don't like him.
We see Ravi talk to Sharon, and he says the next time you'll be in a church, it won't be for a Christian. He puts the frighteners on Sharon as his bosses are mortified that an idiot has gotten their drugs impounded. And we see that Keanu signs some papers. Is he signing a statement where he grasses everyone up? No. We then see Jay and Ben talk, and Ben says, "I've got someone covering your shifts. He has been given some compassionate leave from the cokers and cover from the car lot." Ben then apologizes for last week, saying he should be there for him more. He reminds Jay that he should be able to look back on this time with happier memories. And Jay thanks Ben, and Ben says, "You're gorgeous when you smile." To which Jay responds, "Sorry, babe, you're not my type," as they share a big hug. There we are.
Love that.
Nice to see Ben and Jay actually being brothers and not just weirdos. Then we see Kathy, who's very drunk, talk to Sonia and Reese. Keanu arrives back, and Sharon says, "Oi, in here," and absolutely chews him out. Sharon slaps him across the face, and Keanu promises it's not drugs, and admits that he didn't get Ravi's name involved, and Sharon says, "Get out of my life."
Get out of my life.
Right, Becky. So imagine if you didn't know that it was like Sharon, Mitch, Sharon, Watson, Keanu.
Yeah.
You could easily just imagine it was a mum yelling at their dumb kid.
You could.
I just can't. There's no romance there. There's none. You're not the same at all. You're two completely different people. But they're gonna get married at Christmas.
I've heard rumors that it might be Phil and Sharon that get married.
Ah. Yeah, but nah, come on, don't do that. Feels like they would because Phil and Sharon is apparently inevitable. But just keep them away. In the episodes, Phil said, "Yeah, your future's not with him." You know. But, like, come on, I've had enough of Sharon and Phil. They've been written into the fucking ground. Mate, I prefer Grant to come back.
Don't they want to bring Grant back for the 40th anniversary?
I don't know, maybe.
How long has Phil Mitchell and Sharon Mitchell been together?
They've been together multiple times for a long period. The bulk of the 2010s, they were together. Yeah, alright, that's we'll think about that a little bit later. And yeah, so Linda and Alfie talk about Janine's sentencing and how hard it's been. Linda says she envies Billy and Jay because they have their time to say their goodbyes. Linda says she can't organise the coronation party without Mick. Albie's family take a family photo. Excuse me. Oh. As Sonia and Kathy talk about Reese. Sonia thinks they're doing a party for her birthday, but Reese mentions God save the king. They have crossed wires as Reese is planning a coronation party, not a party for Sonia. Sound. Keanu darts off from the party and Sharon isn't interested. Ravi then follows him out of the Vic fight to figure out what happened. Keanu reminds him that he's not a grass and is like, why would I grass? I'm on bail for supplying coke. Ravi then calls Christos and says, I believe him, but gets an order which Ravi thinks is a little bit too much. He says he'll sort it out as he looks absolutely disgusted. Meanwhile, we see Lola and Jay eating and they reminisce about memories about their bank holiday. Lola reminisces about being on the Newcastle beach, or the Newcastle beaches, with Lexi, and then Jay tells her that he's got compassionate leave. He then says this may be a contender from a favourite bank holiday. Do people remember bank holidays?
What do you mean?
Like, do people form core memories on a bank holiday? It's just another
No.
day. I guess it's the idea that maybe, like, if your parents, like, have to work, it's the one time they get off. They decide to plan a day out, but I never done this.
Same.
Yeah. We then cut back to the Vic at its last orders, and Alfie says he'll make sure she gets through it as he sends them home. We then see Kathy is very drunk talking about Lou and her husband Albert and slightly about Arthur. And they also talk about Martin's criticism. They try to send her off home as she's absolutely steaming and she ends up singing songs and it's great. Love Kathy. I always appreciate a mention of Lou Beale. Probably the original EastEnders battle axe. The old woman who was going to scream at you and then say, well, be right. Owner of the first Julia's theme is old Lou Beale, where Ian's struggling because Pete, his dad, has been like, yeah, you're going to be a bloody macho man like me. And then Ian's like, yeah, but I want to be a chef. And Pete's like, well, that's a bloody woman's thing, ain't it? And everything gets on top of him. He cries into Lou's arms, and Lou's like, don't you worry. They have to deal with me. Sorry. Another I'm pretty sure was an actress who went, well, if I realised it was gonna be on for the next, 10 years, I probably would have stayed. Good old Lou Beale. Absolute icon of the square. I was gonna make a video talking about her, but you dumb fucks got rid of Brookside episodes, so I can't watch classic EastEnders anymore. And Phil sacks Keanu as he wants a clean business. Keanu then stumbles into Ravi as he is sending a voicemail to Sharon. Ravi then beats the ever-living shit out of Keanu, and he runs away having floored him completely. He runs off because Kathy is being heard singing, and Keanu has been left bleeding and lifeless. Episode 3 commences as Phil finds an unconscious Keanu. Ravi then calls in Christos with blood over him, saying it's been done. Phil calls for an ambulance as Ravi tries to scrub the blood from his jacket as he hears a siren. Sharon,
how did the ambulance arrive so fast?
I mean, we don't know how long he was there for. Yeah, pretty much.
Do we?
No idea how long he was there for. Could have been there for ages.
imagine Phil's like, all right, Keanu, I'll save your life. But first, hello, is that a chippy? I want a doner kebab there, please. I want Keanu. What do you want, Keanu?
Yeah.
Can I get a doner kebab and can I get a bag of chips for Keanu? Thanks. It'll be all right, Keanu. He's just eating. He's munching on the kebab while Keanu's dying on the floor. Don't know why that's funny to me.
1 second. Alright, we back. Yeah. Sharon sprints seeing that Keanu's been hurt as we cut to Billy and Honey, who have been awakened by the siren. It's Billy's birthday tomorrow, and he feels awful knowing he's getting older when Lola might not. Billy feels miserable, feeling like he's rubbing a nose in it, as Lola looks on absolutely crushed by this. Because, yeah, it's pretty sad, isn't it? Keanu is rushed into the surgery as Sharon feels terrified and Phil stays with her as Kat says she shouldn't be alone. Nish, Ravi and Nugget notice the crime scene and Ravi snaps at Nugget. Well, like, when Nugget keeps talking about it like it's nothing. Nish cottons on like, that was some out of character behaviour. Bernie tries to get a hold of Karen, who is too busy being hungover, and tells her about Keanu, obviously entering the "my boy, my beautiful boy, my boy." Like I said, you get any like sad scene with Karen, and it's just my boy,
My boy.
my baby girl. Maybe it just takes a while for characters to grow on me, but Karen is still shite. I still dislike Karen, and I've never liked her.
She can't act.
Yeah.
Because all she has to say is, my boy, my boy. Or, my girl, my girl. It's never, my kebab, my kebab. Like, Jesus, Karen. Will you take some acting classes? Join SAC and take some acting classes.
In the
We're not
hospital,
gonna we're not gonna be meeting the EastEnders cast, are we? We're gonna be segregated like Leslie Graham when he went on a rant about the EastEnders characters.
well, I she can act. I just think she's just very one-dimensional.
She's as one-dimensional as a flute.
In the hospital, Sharon starts telling Phil it was Ravi who battered Keanu. Phil says that's not his style. And Kathy realizes with Keanu being attacked, you have to seize life when you can. As Reese is getting excited about King Charles, as Sonia's about to tell him about her birthday, but messes up by playing the full national anthem. This, coupled with Rocky walking on in, as Rocky proposes officially and remembers Kathy's birthday, Sonia feels upset as Reese isn't paying any attention to her.
I love this scene because he's trying so desperately to get rid of the national anthem, but as Rocky proposes to Kathy, they're playing the national anthem. God save the Queen. I mean King. I mean pedophile. I mean killer. I mean, yeah. God save the King.
Linda and Alfie are worrying about Janine as Jay and Lola start prepping for Billy's birthday party. Linda initially disagrees, but then seeing Lola feels that she can't say no. Nish
Yeah,
talks.
could you imagine? Could you imagine just like because she's dying? Could you imagine just going up to her? I know you have cancer and you're dying, but I couldn't say goodbye to Mick, so you're not saying goodbye to your fucking dad. Fuck you.
Yeah, I can imagine Linda doing that. So.
You didn't get. You can't. I can't say goodbye to my Nick. You can't. You can't say goodbye to your dad. Fuck. He's not even your real dad. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Go cry about it, you little bitch. There we
Nish
go.
talks with Ravi about the attack and essentially kind of emotionally goes, "Yeah, there's no reason any of us would have done that, right?" And Ravi's kind of like, "I don't have the time for this." Karen arrives at hospital and starts a "my boy, my boy." He apparently had a collapsed lung and is struggling with shock. She starts screaming at Sharon and wants someone to blame, and surprisingly, Phil plays peacemaker. Alfie tries to get Linda to do a coronation party in a way to celebrate the memories and how to move on. Linda snaps him, gives him food for thought, being a single man living in a house of like probably about 20 at this point, across the square from his ex. Bit harsh, but you know, fair enough. Grief does that. Still don't like Linda. Still a prick. In the hospital, as Sharon hears the voicemail and realizes that Ravi must have been to blame for this, and she feels vindicated. And Alfie tries to get Freddie alongside for Billy's surprise party, and Freddie nearly blows it. Rocky and Sonia chat about his big proposal, and Rocky advises Sonia that she should tell Reese that it's her birthday on Saturday. He offers her a game, but Reese is not going to be able to pick up on the sign, is he?
No.
Karen is stressing with Bernie as Bernie starts to consider whether Keanu was actually intentionally involved in drugs. And Karen says that you're trying to attack him on his deathbed, but she acknowledges that sometimes you don't know, and actually brought up Chantel, which not ideal. But still, some food for thought, as they had no idea what was going on with Chantel. So yeah, pretty rough, but still something to think about. Honey tries to get Billy to have a good birthday, but he's not happy with it. He then follows her into the pub as he's surprised with everyone in capes, as Lola calls him her real-life superhero.
You're my superhero.
Felt a bit hammy, but she's dying. She can do whatever the fuck she wants. Like,
I still would be funny. I don't know, not funny, but could you imagine if Alfie dressed up as like the tumor, as the villain?
That's no.
Just
That's messed
look,
up.
look. He was a dick in 2019. He would do, if 2019 Alfie Moon was here,
He'd
he'd do
start
that.
asking if they prepared a funeral yet.
What?
He'd start asking if they prepared their funeral yet. Well,
Yeah.
I can sell you a funeral package. Yeah, but you're not dead. Oh well. You will be.
He pulls out a gun. You will be dead.
Reese tells Sonia she bought something from the liquor store in the market, and he gets really confused as she starts like, yeah, well, I feel like we don't know what each other wants and needs from the other. And Reese is just kind of sat there like, Sonia, what's in the bag? Sharon goes to slap Ravi, but he warns her off as Nish sees us go down. Nish is absolutely furious that his son was behind the attack. Billy feels upset, but doesn't want to tell Lola that she feels upset, as Linda apologizes to Alfie as before, and she's arrived with a cape and crown, and he realizes he's been coasting, and says to the future. Bloody hell, Alfie might actually move on.
Hopefully.
They all call everyone around, and Billy finds it a bit too much, like just tearing up and leaving. Lola follows and wants to help. And Reese and Sonia are doing the card games as he's completely, he has no idea. And Sonia finally tells him that her birthday's on Saturday, and he says we'll have a coronation party, and she isn't too pleased. Now, Piggy, your favourite line of the week was in this one.
So basically, Sonia goes. So how do I describe this? Basically, Reese reads out. He's loving, kind. He's loving. He's kind. He's always there for conversation. And then Sonia reads out Reese's 5'3", Caucasian, slim build. Which Sonia then drinks and goes, actually, I'm 5'4". I love it. I love it.
It is good.
You cannot replace Reese.
No. Karen updates Sharon that he's going to make it, and they both realize how much they care about him. Karen needs to know that he's safe after this and whether he's actually involved in drugs, and Karen desperately wants to help Keanu out of this mess. Lola and Billy are talking about today, and Lola is hyping him up for being such a good pop. She acknowledges that it is their last birthday together, and wants him to know that, this is important. Billy asks how she manages to get through it, and she mentions that she wants everybody to have happy memories of her. To be honest, I thought this scene was gonna happen when she was dying. Once again, they're doing all the scenes ahead of schedule. So I'm pretty sure I said this last week. I have no idea how she's gonna die anymore.
I've heard in the grapevine, if you don't mind me reporting this, that
Spoiler warning.
possible spoiler warning. So skip ahead a few minutes if you don't want to be spoiled. But I'll count down, and when I count down to 0, men, open your butt cheeks and be prepared. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I've read reports that that the actor who plays Jay and the actress that plays Lola, they will film a scene on a beach, and she will presumably, well,
Oh,
kick the
yeah,
bucket
that
on the
makes
beach.
sense. Makes sense.
So they go to London after all, and then they're all having a happy day, and then
Lola just
fucking,
casually dies in the chair.
yeah, she dies on the
What
beach.
would be a pretty decent exit for her, to be honest.
And knowing EastEnders, that will not get a Julius name.
Nah, that will.
Knowing EastEnders to be like, Lola, will you get your own thing?
They're going for awards with this one. They want soap of the year this year. Also, we're gonna have to react to the soap awards at some point.
Oh no.
Yeah.
We're doing this after the podcast, are we?
No. I don't know when the soap awards are, but at some point. Yeah. And Nish heads straight to Ravi and confronts him over the attack on Keanu. He says he's disgusted by him, and Ravi is finally called out on his lack of care for his son. Nugget arrives and wants to know what they're arguing about as the police call in and arrest Ravi for the attack, whilst Sharon looks on with the most dopey pantomime evil grin on her face. The final episode commences as Ravi is in the station with a no-comment treatment. The police try to coerce him into giving information as the police mention that Keanu has someone looking out for him. Billy and Rocky are talking with Linda, and then mentions Ravi as Nish arrives, and Rocky tries to hold the fort and not piss off Nish. I wouldn't do it either. He seems mental. Alright, see. Oh boy. Alright. Reese and Sonia are talking, and she's still furious because he doesn't seem interested in her birthday, and she storms out. Keanu and Sharon are talking on the hospital, and she's saying how worried they are. Sharon tells him that she implicated Ravi, and he tells her that the gang did this because they thought he might grass. He's just like, what the fuck have you done? You know how dangerous this is. Lola wants to do something for a coronation, and they opt for a crown competition. They get excited. Ravi calls Nish and asks for help. Nish refuses and says he's on his own, but Nugget sees this go down and asks him about Ravi. But Nish tells him to go to school, and Nugget says, I can't go to school like this. And he just says he just wants a normal family life. And this actually makes Nish kind of go, maybe I shouldn't just abandon him. Sharon tries to explain herself out of this as Keanu wants her to take back the police statement, as this can completely jeopardize the family and take away their safety. But the police arrive and want the statement out of Keanu. Finley has brought out Avery's car again and is trying to get the car working by the coronation. They ask Ben for help, but he's feeling down, and Jay notices that something is wrong. Rocky then tries to convince Reese to plan something proper for Sonia's birthday, and Alfie gets asked about the coronation plans for the pub, but there isn't any. Ravi looks livid in his cell, but is let out. And Reese surprises Sonia and wants her to meet him on her break. Jay, Ben, Billy, and Callum are meeting, and they're talking about the joint parent meeting, and that in a couple of weeks it should be sorted. They then realise that the coronation celebrations are off at the Vic, but Billy is sad about it. This results in Billy trying to sort this party with Linda. Billy says, Walford needs me. Sound, cheers, Billy.
England needs me.
Ravi arrives back for Panesars as Nish makes Ravi believe it was him who got him off scot-free. It was not. Nish said that he did it for Nugget, not him, and they agree to have a very public lunch in the Vic as Nish wants to save face. He also still believes that he's going to be running it. That's happening in June, and that's next month, right?
Yeah, June is next month.
Sick, that's when the knights appear. Phil is reminding Sharon how bad an idea it was to grass, Ravi up, and Billy was trying to convince Alfie otherwise as Nish and Ravi arrive in a public standoff and shoots. Nish doesn't back down from Phil and Sharon. Reese has surprised Sonia with a cake and a happy pre-birthday. She's so pleased as she gives him a kiss, and Reese's phone goes off though, and she turns down the volume on notifications so they can spend some time together. When she mentions him not being in a relationship for a while, he looks sheepish. He also gets a phone call from Debbie, who could possibly be his wife. Finley has finally got Avery's motor working, and Mitch says Avery must have left this for a sense of achievement. So the motor stops, and Finley notices that something's off about the vehicle. Sharon is staring down Ravi and Nish, and Phil tries to get to see through this. He reminds that Keanu is a lost kid who thinks second and acts first. Phil says your future isn't with him. And Finley is looking strange as Bernie arrived and sees him looking upset. He says he cursed his dad for leaving him nothing, but that car was hiding something special. He's found this beautiful, possibly diamond necklace, which would save all of the money for it. Linda is walking through the square as Billy has set up a big showpiece and tells Linda that the castle is the pub and that she is the queen. He gives her a massive photo of when they met Camilla and King Charles, saying your king would want you to celebrate.
Is that real?
Yeah, that happened.
When did that happen?
I don't remember, but it did happen. We learn that Keanu told the police that Ravi had nothing to do with it, not Nish, and Keanu opens up saying that he doesn't want Albie to be with these type of people. Sharon says he's just lost, and she says, how she thought she'd lost him yesterday. She proposes to Keanu, and he accepts. Fuck's sake.
Keanu is back on.
Let's go, baby. Billy and Linda are talking about losing someone, opens up about Lola, and what you'd do if you could say one more thing. The King of Walford, Billy Mitchell, has convinced Linda to have a coronation party, and he looks absolutely chuffed with himself. Linda, seeing her and Mick staying above the pub, says she misses him so much. And Sonia and Reese are about to have a drink as Reese calls Debbie and tells her, I love you, and to see her soon. And Rocky hears this go down and is absolutely furious. I still feel like he's talking to his kid or something. I feel like him and his wife are separated.
Or she's dead.
And Keanu says we aren't gonna be scared as Nish arrives hearing the good news. He thanks him for doing this, but threatens him, saying it would be very unfortunate if someone ruined your little family, as Sharon lays down the battle lines. The lines have been set, and Sharon and Keanu and the Panesars are at war. And that was week 18 of Watching Walford, week 18 of EastEnders of 2023. How do we find these episodes, Biggie?
Good week, mainly because of Reese, but
yeah. I think, I guess I feel like I know what we're both thinking. It's just, it was a good week, but Keanu being the focus kind of made it less fun.
For me, it's the King's coronation being mentioned a lot.
Yeah.
Being they should cater to their Irish audience, you know?
Yeah, it was a decent enough week. It wasn't bad, but like I said, Keanu being the face and still continuing Keanu kind of ruins it for me. Alright, but let's get the awards section done. So Piggy, who do you think was the most underrated of the week?
Oh, no.
I've immediately got mine.
Albie was underrated.
I think Keanu's delivery of, oh shit, just Sharon's like, oh, what you got in the van, Keanu? Weed. Underrated as fuck.
So I've gone for Albie, you've gone for Keanu.
For a serious one, I was going to go for Amy Mitchell, because it was nice to see her actually be in high spirits again after her terrible week before.
So Amy Mitchell, Albie Watts.
Yeah.
Or is he Albie Taylor?
Probably just Watts. And All right, the Steve Blackman, the most wooden character. I'm gonna go for Karen.
Same.
She is just very
Really.
one note. My boy, my boy.
My boy. My boy.
And who needs slapping down?
Oh no,
I mean,
that's
apparently the answer was Keanu this week.
it would
Fucking
be
got it.
Keanu, but I'm gonna go for the police. Just of how they showed up.
Yeah, because it came out of fucking nowhere. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna go for Ravi because I'm still finally seeing the time where he's like, well, let's just do all this criminal shit. It's like, yeah, but your son's still angry at you for all the other shit you've done. Well, let's just do more damage, Sam.
My boy.
I can still see. I feel it a bit more. I wouldn't be surprised. It's gotta be Ravi or Nish who dies at Christmas. It's gotta be. Because Nish is now, like, done Sharon in, and she's a part of the Six, isn't she?
So that just leaves 5 of the women left.
Well, he's already messed with Denise, kind of. No, it
So
paints
that's
more for
4.
Ravi than Nish right now. But those were the awards. And finally, a big thank you to both of us from Watching Walford for watching the episode. If you do like the channel, subscribe, like the videos, and just keep watching, as we are an unstoppable train of endless content and stupid ideas. And yeah, I've been Ash from Watching Walford, and I've been joined by Piggy.
I've been Piggy from Monty Brown's Basement.
And yeah, we will see you next week on the podcast. Like the video, subscribe, watch us on the podcast feeds, and most importantly, remember that sometimes all somebody really needs is slapping down.